The average person types around 35 to 40 words per minute, but it is so easy to get that number much higher. Most of us nowadays are working from home, writing emails, or just gaming and chatting with others all the time. This is why fast typing has become so important and why becoming the fastest typer brings many advantages. I will share with you today some of the best tips and tricks to help you reach your maximum and to prove others you're finally the fastest. If we're both lucky enough, we may even get a pay raise. To increase your typing speed drastically, you need to get more comfortable with your keyboard. You need to improve your accuracy and you need to minimize your mistakes when typing. You need to learn how to maximize your typing comfort, use the correct starting position, gain confidence to type without looking at the keyboard if you are looking at it, and get the best practices for constant improvement. I recommend using online resources and games such as Monkey Type here and some others you will see soon. If you'd like to take the entire course and literally become the fastest at keyboard typing, I'm leaving the links in the description. And here's a sneak peek of what you'll be able to find there. Let's make the best use of the keyboard that you're using, starting with shortcuts. The shortcuts you're seeing on the screen are the ones that I use the most, and I will just throw in a small example on how they work so you can see how they're going to be useful later on. So, for example, I have a notepad here, and let's type out this sample sentence that I will be using to test shortcuts. Alright, so first thing we are seeing here, Control plus backspace. What does this do? This shortcut deletes a whole word so you won't have to repeatedly press backspace. For example, I'll just copy this real quick. You have this, and if you were to go button by button and delete all these words, it's going to take a lot of time. So what I will advise you to do, if case you need to remove the entire word, let's say I made a mistake here, instead of going this way, just hold Control and backspace and that wipes out the entire word. This is definitely going to be useful when you're typing faster, as of course you need to make a mistake sometimes, and instead of taking all this time to click on backspace, you would rather use Control and backspace. Now, the next shortcut I want to cover is Control plus either left or right arrow. What this does is, for example here, it will go back to the beginning of the word that you've written. This is going to be useful if, let's say, you've written out this shortcuts, let's say test was a fake mistaken word, and instead of deleting both shortcuts and this word, I will be going back to this word using Control and left or right arrow, and this will allow me to wipe out this word much quicker rather than deleting everything at once. What you've seen me do here as well is Control plus A. This basically highlights everything that is in the notepad, or basically anything, no matter how many sentences you have here. This will mark and select everything that is in this notepad, and this of course works everywhere else. As it highlights it all, either you need to remove it or perhaps copy and paste it later on, which can be done by Control C and Control V. But this one is highly useful as well, and you will see that in action too. Now, the next one will be Control Shift and left or right arrow. So it's basically going to be the same thing as what you did earlier. Instead, you will be able to highlight it like this. This is also going to be highly useful in case, let's say, you have to type out shortcuts 5 or 10 times. Instead of doing this, why not just select it this way with Control, Shift, and arrow, then copy it, and then just paste it as many times as you need. Now, the next one will be Control plus Z, and what this does is it undoes previous action. So let's say I've just removed all of the words that were in this notepad, and I mistakenly removed something that I actually needed. So hitting Control and Z will actually revert it all. Depending on how many you've deleted at once, it's only going to return that part. If, let's say, you only removed this, then hit Control Z, it's going to remove that, undo that part. So this is also going to be extremely useful. Same goes for Control and Y. It's going to be the same thing as Control and Z. Instead, it's going to redo previous action. Now the same thing goes for Mac devices as well. Shortcuts are just the same on the Mac device too. It is very useful, and as I don't have a Mac, I can't really test it out right now, but on the screen here you can actually see some of the shortcuts that you can use. What I mean by getting more comfortable with your keyboard, I mean put the keyboard at the place where you like it most, where it feels most comfortable and where you know where all the buttons are. Keeping your fingers on the F and J keys will help you memorize where your fingers are and what the letters next to them are. So try to keep your fingers on the home row, all these letters here, before you start typing, as this will be the most comfortable position for your hands before starting. The next step, however, is to improve your accuracy and minimize the mistakes that you saw right there, as I was having some trouble writing out specific words. You cannot do that by trying to be the fastest humanly possible. Instead, you need to take your time and practice. Go slowly at first, try to type out all the words one by one and take your time with them. Only that way you will gradually increase your speed and become the fastest. Use the correct starting position. What I mean by this is not only that you should place your fingers the specific way, instead you need to put your entire body in a specific way. Don't be laying on your chair like a lunatic or hover your hands across the entire desk. Instead, get a comfortable seating position, know where your fingers are, place your elbows on your armrests on your chair if you have those. If you don't, then move the keyboard a little bit further and try to keep most of your hands on the table in order to relax them and keep your fingers focused on the keyboard. To gain confidence to type without looking at the keyboard, the most advanced tip that I have for you, and I'm serious about this one, what you need to do is firstly focus on one word only. Later on you'll improve that by adding more words here, but what I mean by this is you should come over to Monkey Type, then head over to this custom panel and then click on change. What this will allow you is to edit the text on this website that you will be able to type out, and what I recommend mostly is to try out with one word only. For example, let's say I want the word mistake, like this, and what I want to do is copy this and paste it as many times as I can, as many times as I feel comfortable. Press OK, and now you have this. What I need you to do is focus on this one word, and perhaps for the first couple of times, maybe do look at your keyboard, memorize where the keys are, and place your fingers in advance to know which keys you will type next. So yes, of course, you will go slow at the beginning and go like this, but later on, try not to look at the keyboard, memorize the keys you were typing and go like this. What this does is it helps you over time to memorize the entire layout of the keyboard. I want you to practice with a bunch of words, not just one, because eventually you will subconsciously start remembering where all the keys are on your keyboard, and you will no longer have to look at the keyboard. I would strongly suggest that you practice this as much as you can, because touch typing, or as I call it, blind typing, is the best key to type fast. You need to look at the screen and type at the same time, and hovering your glance at your monitor and at your keyboard all the time just makes you a lot slower. So take your time and practice this as much as you can. Now you need to get the best practices for constant improvement, and what I mean by this is visiting the websites that will teach you how to type faster, that will allow you to compete, and so on. Luckily, the internet is full of these websites. My favorite one is the one right here, Monkey Type. But aside from this, what I like to do is visit these sites as well, such as TypeRacer. And what TypeRacer will allow me is to compete against others who are also learning or just trying to compete. So take a look at this. What? Not such a good score, but not bad either. You get the point. You need to practice as much as you can and use competition. Do not worry about this. Do not worry about losing, of course. This is just the internet. Nobody's seeing you. Compete as much as you can, as competition will help you gradually increase your speed much faster. Aside from TypeRacer, there's also Nitro Type, which is also cars racing. And hold on. And what this does is basically you get to race others, usually online players, sometimes even bots, depending on how many people are online. But this is also a form of competition that you can use to practice. And at last, my favorite website, which is 10 Fast Fingers. This one is the simplest one of them all. You have a minute to type out as much words as you can that you're seeing on the screen. So let's see how this one goes.
My appetite, don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby.
And that's it for this video, folks. I've prepared an entire course for those that would really like to increase their speed and literally become the fastest at keyboard typing. You all know we need this skill today, so I'll highly suggest that you check the links in the description if you want a new keyboard or just the fastest typing course there is. Thank you for staying till the end, thank you for watching, and stay safe. Peace out.